Well, good morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez, and I have a question for you, Stan. I have a question for you.
Sir, Mr. Gio. Yes, sir.
What do snowmen like to do on New Year's Eve?
Oh man. I don't know. Gio, tell me, please.
They like
Yeah, it is.
they like to chill out.
Oh, oh God.
I know it is so wrong and in so many levels. It's
So,
terrible.
so wrong on so many levels. That's wonderful, Gio. That's wonderful, man. I love it.
It is wrong in so many levels. I know.
Hey, Harumi. You missed the beautiful joke this morning. It was a killer.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year. Today is the last episode of the year, and I have the privilege and the honor to be with you.
Look at that.
Yes. So I am excited about today's conversation. Today's conversation is that it's going to be about this. Why goal settings don't work unless you do this one thing. So before we get with that, I want to ask Stan, since you're here and I can see you, Stan, where are you and one thing you're grateful for?
Well, I am right here and now, Gio, and I'm grateful to have my mom around today for her 88th birthday. So she's a single mom, raised me all by herself, her only child, and she's been a beautiful mom to me. And I'm so grateful to have my mom.
Wow. Thank you for bringing your mom to the conversation.
Hey.
And thank you for being here, Stan. Harumi.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. I got one question for you. Where are you? And one person you're going to hug today.
I am here right now with you. I really want to hug our mastermind mother, Martha Anderson.
Oh, you're going to hug her? I'm going to tell her.
Yeah, please hug her for me.
I will tell
that is beautiful. Thank you, Harumi, for being here. And thank you, Florence and Saurel, Dr. Joy, Rashida, Virtue, and all of you who joined us. Thank you for being here. And for those of you who are watching, and maybe this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe and put notifications. And today we have this really, really interesting conversation. I've been giving it a thought, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'd like to hear what are you guys thinking of this. But one of the things that I've noticed over the year is that there's a very big social conversation, like Saurel likes to say it. There's a very big social conversation around goal settings. And the conversation today is not about knocking down goal settings. I'm going to say it this way, obviously. Not goal settings allow you to have some sort of a compass for your brain to where you want to go. It gives an opportunity for you to create an unconscious pathway to where you would like your life to go. And but for the most part, what I've noticed over the years is that people achieve what they normally achieve. They don't. Most people don't necessarily have big shifts or big breakthroughs in those things that they care about. They sort of manage a sort of growth, sort of a predictable growth in their lives. Let me say it this way. So let's say you are in high school. Well, your goal is to get to the next grade, and certainly that's the grade, and certainly there's a pathway, and certainly the person studies. That student will study enough, and then he or she gets to the next grade. And so then eventually it becomes the goal to graduate, right? And then they do what they do, and then that person achieves the goal of graduation. And then there is this other goal that begins to show up. Okay, well, so what am I going to do? And then there is a goal to go to college, or maybe there is a goal to get a job. And then when a person gets a job or goes to college, then there's this kind of predictable goals that begin to happen. If the person has a job, well, how do I grow on this company? What do I got to do to grow in that company? And then so there's that kind of a goal there. Or if the person is in college, okay, well, I want to go to the next year and I want to graduate, and it becomes this predictable goal. And then there is getting married for some people. It's like, oh, well, I really want to get married. So it becomes this kind of predictable goal. And people do, for the most part, achieve predictable goals depending on the environment that they're in. People sort of get to their predictable goals. And so this conversation is not about predictable goals necessarily, and predictable goals are useful, right? But I want to talk about the unpredictable goals, the ones that you really want to hit something out of the park. You really want something in your life that speaks to you, that you want to not necessarily just get a promotion. And getting a promotion, it's a good goal, yes. But you want to not necessarily get a promotion. You actually want to provide a profound value to the company that you're in, a paradigm shift, a breakthrough to the company that you're in. Not a predictable goal, actually, that you help the company that you're in to get to a whole new market share, to be different players in the marketplace. So it's a real out of this predictability goal. Or maybe you have a real goal for many years of actually having a book, and you want to write a book, and you have something to say to the world, or you have something to say to your children, or you have something to create out there. And so there is this goal that is really not inside of your habit box, if you will, or you really want to, you've been, for many years, you're making under six figures, and now you have a real goal to make over six figures in your life, and you can't do it where you're working, not because you're not valuable, but because that job, that position cannot pay anymore, otherwise it will impact everything else. So it's not just your the position that you're in, your job. You need to create something new. So this could be unpredictable, or the half a million year goal, or the million-year goal, or whatever it is, right? That for you, it is completely unpredictable. And so even though at the beginning of the year, you set those goals up to achieve those goals, highly likely, most people don't achieve them. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if it makes sense. It's like we put them on the list at the beginning of the year, but it's like, it's kind of a hopeful kind of goal. It's kind of hopeful. I hope it happens. And if it happens, great. And sometimes people achieve hopeful goals, but most of the time people don't. Most of the time people don't achieve hopeful goals. People achieve predictable goals, not hopeful goals, right? And so here's the one thing, that absent of doing it, those hopeful goals become wishing goals, wishful goals, but not really predictable. And so here's what over the years, here's what has been a shift for me, a kind of a real paradigm shift for me to achieve some of those really hopeful, out of this world kind of goals. And here's what I'm pointing to. Now, I do want you to set your goals for the beginning of the year like you normally do, and do the collage. If some of you do a collage of the things that you want, and I know that works. And now I want you to do this one thing that most people don't really do unless they're going through a coaching program, if you will. And that one thing is to begin to ask yourself, what is my view of myself? What is my view of myself? I want you to discover for yourself, what's the opinion that you have of yourself around those really breakthrough goals, those really, just out of this world goals that you have for yourself. What is the opinion I have of myself? What is the opinion that you have of yourself about those goals? And I want you to go to this place of real straight view of yourself, not a hopeful, not a positive view, like a real straight view of yourself. I remember before I wrote my first book, I had this real goal out there for me that I wanted to write a book. I had something to say, and like many people do, and I wanted to put it in writing, and I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't really know what to say, but I had some things I wanted to share. And so every year since I was maybe 24, I would put that on my goal setting list at the beginning of the year. Oh, my book. This year I will write my book, right? And it would just happen year after year after year after year. I would have that kind of goal there, and nothing really was moving. And was I a lazy guy, and is that why I was not doing it? No, not really. Was it that I wasn't growing? No, not really. Was it that, what was it that was kind of holding me back? And I started to discover in the process that I had a view of myself that I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. Yes, I do want to write a book, but I'm not a writer. So I have this conflicting sort of view of myself, or this conflicting view or belief about myself that I didn't know I have. I didn't know. So I had this definition of a writer, right? I had this, when I looked, who is a writer? Well, a writer is this very smart, intellectual, thought-provoking person who understands the dynamics and the secrets of how to captivate a person through writing. And I was thinking, well, certainly I'm not that. So even though I want to write a book, I'm never going to do it because I'm not a writer. So it didn't matter. It just didn't matter how many times I put that goal, I wouldn't achieve it until I got to this place of seeing it. Oh, I'm saying I'm not a writer. But is it true that only writers write a book? Or people write a book and then people call them writers? I don't know. And so I went to this process, if you will. At that point, it was a little bit, it was rather coincidental. And then it was a coaching process to let go a view I had of myself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Raise your hand if it makes sense, because I can't see you guys. Does it make sense a little bit? Thank you. Yes, thank you, Florence. Yeah, thank you, Rashida. Thank you, thank you. Awesome. Very good. Then there was another time when I remember I was in corporate America for a long time, for a very, very long time. Well, before I give you this other example, I wanna Saurel, will you raise your hand to say something, or you were just raising your hand?
I was just raising my hand to say it makes perfect sense.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Saurel. So here's another example. So for many years, I'm going through this journey of my personal growth, right? And I achieved this massive milestone in my life, which was to work for corporate America. And for those of you who work for corporate America outside of I don't know, for those of us who have worked for corporate America, you never really hit the six-figure income. It really takes something to hit the six-figure income. It really does. You kind of grow in this process of 30,000, 40,000, 60,000, 80,000, and 90,000. You kind of stay there, even though you become a manager and you work for 10 years for an organization. You kind of have to jump into a different industry, if you will. But the regular corporate America, there's only a few people in that club. And I remember really wanting to have a six-figure income. So I was thinking, okay, well, I need a part-time after work. I really need a part-time after work because this is not going to do it. in the position I'm in, I need to be there for about 5 or 6 years so that they can see me, or 3 years, or 3 to 5 years, so they can see me as a manager, and then I can make some more money, and then maybe I can get some bonuses. So it became like this 8-year plan, right? And then I was thinking, well, then I got to move to a different state. And then now I'm kind of competing with all the people who want to live in a different state, or in an area that nobody wants to go, so that I can get paid more money. So I was setting my goals in that kind of direction. But the goal was to make a 6-figure income. So I thought, let me start something part-time. I want to start selling something part-time, or creating a company part-time. There's got to be something I can do part-time at night. So I go to work in the usual hours, and then after 6, I start something new, and then I'll work from 6 to 10, or 6 to 11, 6 to 12, until that business becomes something I can now live off and let go my usual job. And so that was my predictable goal. However, I didn't really reach this 6-figure kind of world for myself until I met someone who said to me, well, in order to be around me, you have to make your life, you have to make yourself your minimum wage in life is a 6-figure income. That's your minimum wage. I only work with people who have a 6-figure income. That's it. I don't work with anybody else. And you've got to be that person for yourself, he said to me, this mentor at the time. You have to be that person for yourself. And if you are that person, I'll work with you. If you're not that person, if you're kind of casual about it, okay, if I make 6 figures, it's fine. Or if I make 60,000, it's fine, or 80,000. If you make that, it's fine. Well, I can't work with you. It's not fine. 6 figures is a must. It's minimum wage to be around me. I'm only talk to people who their minimum wage for who they are for themselves is a 6-figure. Would you like to work with me? And this was a company I was starting at the time. And I thought, I never saw myself, never saw myself as someone whose minimum wage in life is 6 figures. Never, because that was my end of the year or end of my life kind of goal. Maybe at 8 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, I'll make 6 figures. Maybe 12 years from now, when I get the bonuses from this, when I met this guy, was like, no, you are a 6-figure person right now. So I had to elevate my identity. I had to elevate who I am for myself. I had to elevate who I am for myself. I had to see what opinion I have of myself and elevate that opinion. I had to create a new identity for myself. I had to declare a new identity for myself so that my goals can be a match to the identity I am for myself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Raise your hand if it makes sense. Everyone's kind of like doing a lot of things right now, but I want to hear, what are you guys discovering in this conversation? What's opening up in this conversation? I love to hear from some of you. What's showing up? What's opening up? What is this conversation? Where is this conversation taking you? Anybody has any thoughts? Any questions?
Yes, Jill. I'm getting from it that, quite often, we say that we want a particular thing, but we don't really embody that thing first. We kind of like have to put ourselves in that mental place and in that imaginative place where we are that before we actually can really move into that actual space of it. We have to put ourselves there first mentally, see ourselves. They're kind of reading about that now in Think Like a Winner, the book that we're reading on our morning platform. That you kind of have to see yourself. You have to see yourself there first. You have to put yourself there first in your imagination, because everything has two creations. First is the thought and the imagination, and then it's the thing. Yeah.
I gotta see myself as someone who achieves that, like naturally. I've gotta allow myself to go through that process, that journey within, to see myself doing it, not quite only just thinking it, but I gotta see myself as someone who does it. And so I can settle in this new person within myself. Yeah, that's really great, Stan. Florence, go ahead.
Well, I know you're speaking about goals that are, maybe I would say higher goals and so forth, but I feel it happens in every form in your life, every area of your life. For instance, I'm going to try to be very brief. Um, I had an opinion of myself because of an experience I had very early in my life that I did not deserve to be, I guess, loved by a man or like given roses or anything like that. I mean, that was put in my head. That was just given to me, and I think I embodied it. I just swallowed it. I just believed it, and I didn't know I believed that I had accepted it. It hurt me and everything, but I didn't know that I had accepted it until I was in my began my 60s. I was after, I was in the 60s when I realized, because someone gave me roses, and because they weren't exactly the conventional type that I was, that I'm accustomed to, I didn't even recognize them as roses. I felt they were poppies. And then I asked this person, well, what kind of flower are these poppies? And then the person said, no, they're roses. And after I realized my reaction, and then when I came home after I got all these roses and everything, I said, you know what? My higher self said to me, you know why you did not recognize the roses? Because you never felt that you deserved those roses. You never, that you wanted roses in your life, but you never felt you deserved those roses. You were never that person who who felt they should have those roses. So you couldn't even recognize the roses when they came. So I realized that this happens in all areas of your life, not only when you're trying to achieve the higher goals. The perception
So
you have of yourself.
thank you, Florence. The perception I have of yourself. Thank you for creating that. Thank you for saying that and including something that is really massive and very important in someone's life, which is their relationships and having an experience of love, having an experience of affinity, having an experience of creating with another. And that is not a small goal for sure. And I don't want to leave this conversation saying that is a small goal. That is, if in my view, one of the biggest goals in life is to have a profound connection with another. Given that I have what I've discovered, Florence, over the years of trying to understand the science of achievement, is that none of it matters if my relationships don't work. And if I have a view of myself that I'm not lovable, which, Florence, I certainly see it for myself and for many other people I have the chance to work with, it's a real view that's a real view that people live with, then I can't create love with another. So if I'm not lovable, then it's very difficult to see love coming from another. Now, what you're pointing to, Florence, and I want to say it this way, is that most people don't do the work. So I want to invite all of you to kind of going through that journey that Florence is pointing to, not only in the context of achieving the regular goals and the love goals. Go through the journey, through the, I like to say it this way, through the painful journey of dismantling what is the view I have of myself that is keeping me from creating the next level in my life. What is that view I have of myself? And go through that journey and discover it and have fun with it and get an accountable partner, get a coach, be part of a community that cares about those questions. Because what I've noticed over the years, what I've noticed is that when a person discovers the view they have of themselves that is holding them back from the next level, from the next experience in their lives, when they discover that view, they're free. Because what you cannot see is using you. What you cannot see is holding you. So the moment you see it, it's like it's really easy. You can actually say, huh, that there that is. There's that thought. There's the thought that I'm not lovable. There's the thought that I'm not a writer. There is the thought that I'm not a leader. There is the thought that I'm not lovable. And then it's easy to put it on the side. And then there will be a natural new action. This is when you will begin to see yourself creating a magical life naturally, not by working hard, not by screaming louder, but actually discovering what is the next natural action. So I wanted to say that, and then I want to hear what Rashida has to say, and then maybe one more person, and then we wrap it up and just send you.
Grand Rising Jail, Grand Rising Jail. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good, Rashida.
I am so happy that you open this Pandora box for the consciousness of each one of us. And why I say that is because I gave my goal is giving myself 24 months to move back to Costa Rica. This month will be my 12 months into the 24 months. And I am almost reaching my goal that this year I went to Costa Rica 3 times just to able to start to reset myself and consciousness and started to resonate with the place again because I have left Costa Rica 32 years ago. And I said, wow, did you really want to go back to where you have not been 32 years later? And I have 12 months and I'm setting up myself. And that's my goal. But it was a consciousness and awareness have accepting that I want to move back to Costa Rica in 24 months. So I have 12 months more to go and I'm really close to my goal. And I'm so proud of getting that close to my goal. I'm next month, a matter of fact, February, I'm going back to Severe, the property and stuff like that, put construction to start to materialize. So I know I'm close to my goal. So I like the topic because, trust me, it challenge you to go and get it. Go for your goal. I'll finish your goal. Thank you so much, Gio. Thank you very much for the topic.
Thank you, Rashida. You're always very generous, Rashida, and you're always very generous with every conversation. And I really want to acknowledge you and thank you for every time you show up at the Daily Huddle. You always give a kind of a feedback in a very generous way. And it's very beautiful of you, Rashida. And I am excited that you're going to Costa Rica because I want to do retreats in Costa Rica. And I want to visit you in Costa Rica. And I want to bring my community to Costa Rica, to your building, and maybe continue to create conversations like this ones in Costa Rica. And also, one of the things that I want to share with you in the context of what you were pointing to, so that it opens up something for all of us, is that once you have this goal of going to Costa Rica in 24 months, and this is the half-year goal, and you're almost there, what this conversation is pointing to is to allow yourself, right? Allow oneself to think, what view of myself could be holding me back from finishing that goal? What view? Now, there could be nothing, but the question itself is useful. I remember when I finished writing my book, and it was all ready, and the editor had already seen it 6 times, and the publishing company was just waiting for my signature. And I hold on to the manuscript for about 9 months without signing. And I was getting the calls every single month from the publishing company. Hey, you just have to sign, you just need to sign. And I just kept it in my drawer for months after months. And I would look at it and I wouldn't sign it. It was the silliest thing. I just couldn't see myself declaring that I am a book writer. It was a silly thing. And then I finally, through a conversation with another, let go that view. Let go the view that I needed to be a writer to write a book. I could just be Giovanni writing a book. And that let me free. So yeah, so Rashida, whatever it is that could possibly hold you back, search for it. And it may not be nothing. It may not be nothing, and that's good too. That will be useful for the next goal. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for having this magical conversation with me. You know, having this conversation in the closet makes no difference. It is the community that makes it so much rich. Thank you for being part of my community. I love you. Thank you for spending this year with us. It's always rich, and it's just, I can't describe how important you are in my life. And every single host, it's always thrilled to meet with you every day. Please, for this next year, share the Daily Huddle, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share the link, and connect people with this opportunity to start the day this way. I think that the way we start the day gives us the rest of our lives. And if we can start the day with a community that it is loving, that it is inclusive, that it is powerful, it's a cool day. It's a good day, right? So I'm going to end with my 7 tenets, with my 8 tenets that we usually have. And the first one is love. Love. Love those you have a different opinion about. Love those who hurt you. Love those who love you. Love yourself. Love those who voted different from you. Love. Stretch your cheeks, smile as much as you can. Just smile, stretch your cheeks all the time. Smile to your children, smile to your parents, smile to your brothers, smile to your neighbors, smile. It helps with the wrinkles, it helps with the wrinkles. Stress less. There's only one life. This is it. This is all there is. I know people have been looking for another life, but there's really overwhelming evidence. This is it. Might as well take it easy. I mean, this is it. That's all there is. Eat more plant-based, get closer to the trees, hug the trees, eat the trees, let the animals run. Find a way to incorporate in this 2024 more plants, more fruits in your life, less animal, eat more plant-based. Move every day, 10 minutes. What do I mean by move? Walk every day. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes after lunch, walk every single day. Will give you a larger life. You will be happier. Move every single day. Sleep more, at least 7 hours. This life is a lot more alive if you sleep. It makes a difference. It gives you energy. And always give. Give your jealousy away. Give your love away. Give your resentment away. Give the money. Give some of your money away. Give. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And finally, Happy New Year. I love you. Create a phenomenal year for yourself. I'll see you guys next year. Bye-bye, everybody. I love you.
Peace and blessings, Gio. Love you. Love you, Daily Huddle family.
Love you. Love you.
Yeah, love you guys.
Thank you for the conversation.